Porsche Macan EV. Let's do a little bit of number crunching to work out whether it's better perhaps to PCP, to personally lease, or even to salary sacrifice. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, folks. JD here again with another quick number crunching car finance related video for you. If you're new to this channel's all about better educating you when it comes to financing, purchasing vehicles, that kind of thing. I have a couple of tools which are available for purchase from the channel. So if you'd like to ever donate £10, you can get yourself a copy of my personal contract plan, HP, voluntary termination calculator, and also for another donation you can get your hands on the spreadsheet that I'll be using today, which is a salary sacrifice tool, which enables you to work out if it's worth perhaps joining a company scheme. So over to business. So it's quite tricky to find a calculator on the Porsche UK website, but I did a little bit of searching and I found this finance example on the Dick Lovett website. Obviously no affiliation whatsoever. Now I'm assuming it's standard spec, so it's a standard Porsche Macan 265 kilowatt. Let's assume there's no options, because obviously, as we know, with Porsche you have to pay for everything. So this is going to be standard colour, standard wheels, that kind of thing. Now they are quoting a purchase price of £68,565, a deposit of £15,207.79, and then 47 equal payments of £699, and this is based on 5,000 miles and 9.8% APR. A couple of things just to mention about PCPs in case you aren't aware. I think, and I get quite a few emails about this, I think a lot of people think that when they take on a PCP, they have the purchase price, they have the deposit, and they have the balloon payment. And because the balloon payment is optional, people think that you don't pay any interest on the balloon payment. So you know, let's take a £50,000 car, you pay a £10,000 deposit, you have a £20,000 balloon payment at the other end. So you're only kind of borrowing the 20 in the middle, and that's absolutely not the case. Unless it's 0% APR, you're always paying interest on that balloon payment as well. So just a side tip there for you. Now this is a 1 plus 47, and again, when you're comparing different PCP deals, make sure the terms are the same, because if you ask the dealer for, say, a 4-year agreement, they might quote you as 1 month deposit, 48 equal payments, or they might quote you 1 month deposit, as in this case, 47 equal payments, and that obviously makes a difference on the amount that you're paying over the term. So what we're going to do is just going to nip into Excel and let's make a note of this, and we'll compare it with some other deals. So they're saying it's $699 a month for 47 months, and they are saying a deposit of $15,207. So what's that going to cost us over the term? And this is assuming that we're not going to pay the car off and own it. We're going to give it back, or we might even sell it shortly before the end of the term. So across the term, that's going to cost us $699 times 47, which is that, plus that. So it's going to cost us £48,060 across the 4 years, including our deposit. So how does that stack up against a personal lease? Well, again, over to a different website, Lease Loco. Lease Loco is a great website. It's like confused.com for car leasing. So what I'll do here, look, I've chosen the same car. We'll put it on a personal lease for now. Now on here, with leases, when you look at leases, they always talk, again, kind of 1 plus something, or 3 plus something, or 12 plus something. So if you see a lease deal, and be careful again on Lease Loco, because by default they often quote a 12-month deposit. Well, you might only want to put 1 month down, especially if you're salary sacrificing, and obviously that's going to make a big difference to your monthly commitment. So the maximum deposit I can put on this example is £8,809, and that's 12 months. So if I click that, this would effectively be a 12 plus 47, so 12 months deposit, if you like, at the start, followed by 47 equal payments. Now they are saying 8809 with a monthly payment of 73416. So let's have a look at that. So 73416, 47, deposit of what was it, 8809. And that comes out over the term of 43,314. So a saving compared to PCP of that minus that. So across the term, £4,745, which is about £100 a month if you look at it over the 47 months. Now, you don't need to put that much deposit in. So what if we just did, what if we said, right, well, I've got £15,000, as in the PCP example. I'm going to put that in a savings account. That will probably earn me 40, 50 quid a month at the moment. What if we just do a 1 plus 47? So if I change the upfront payment to 1 month lot, it goes up to 910.33. So let's have a look at that. So 910.33, 47, and then we could just do 48, but it's 1 month deposit, so 910.33 again, and that gives us a total across term, hardly any difference, you see, 43,695. So to put that massive amount of money, in this case 8,000 odd pounds in the bank, so in this case if we're doing the lease, £8,000 in the bank, it's going to be another 20 quid a month, compared to PCP, £15,000 in the bank, 50 quid a month. But in this case, the difference between putting 12-month deposit in and putting 1 month deposit in is only, across the term, £381 difference. So personally, I'd put the deposit in the bank. So how does that stack up against salary sacrifice? Now, there are loads and loads of EV salary sacrifice schemes because the benefit in kind, the company car tax, is so low. Now, a lot of schemes will provide everything for you. So they'll run the scheme for you, they'll sort payroll out for you, they'll provide insurance, they'll do everything. I'm not going to look at those schemes because they vary so much. I'm just going to take a straight business lease example and see what it would cost if we were to salary sacrifice that. So back over to Lease Loco, we're going to change it to business. Everything else the same, and we're just going to make it a 1 plus 47 because normally with salary sacrifice you have equal payments. So that comes out at 758.61. Now, we have to do something with the VAT. If it's a car provided for any kind of personal use, we can only reclaim 50% of the VAT. So effectively, what we need to do to get our salary sacrifice amount is take that amount and add on 10% VAT. So let's take this. So this is salary sacrifice, and this is 758.61 times 1.1, effectively, to add on 10% VAT. So we're going to be sacrificing 834.47 a month. So let's run that through a couple of wage examples. So go to the April 2025 tab. Now, the only thing that's really changed as of April is company NI has gone up from 13.8% to 15%. Everything else is the same. Tax codes have stayed the same. We've got this thing called stealth tax because the personal allowance is frozen until at least 2028. So we're going to assume the standard tax code of 1257L. Let's start with a salary of £50,000 because you're going to have to earn quite a bit to afford a Macan EV. And the amount we're going to sacrifice, look, is 10,013.64, which is 834.47 a month. So that brings our taxable pay down to 39,986, so just over £10,000 a year. So we're saving income tax and national insurance on all of that amount effectively. Then what we need to do is we need to put the purchase price of the vehicle in effectively, or known as the P11D value. Now, I've taken that from the Dick Lovett site and it's saying 68,565. So 68,565, and then at the moment we times that by 2%. That gives a figure of £1,371. Now, what does that mean? You don't pay £1,371 tax a year unless you've got no personal allowance. That figure will come off your tax code and then you pay income tax at your standard rate. So in this example, 20% taxpayer, the tax code is reduced to 1120L, which means we're going to pay about another £260 a year, 20% of £1,300. So how does that stack up? So that means in this example, that car would cost us £623.67 a month, a saving of around 25%. So let's put that in. So £623.67. Again, 48 of those because it's equal payments. which is that times that. 29,936. So compared with the PCP, we would save £18,000 across the term, or across each month, £377 a month saving. But there are other things we can do. So you might earn more money than that. So obviously the more you earn, the more you save effectively. So what if we were well into the 40% bracket? So let's change the salary to £60,000 a year. We now get a bigger saving. And that car now comes out at a 37% saving, nearly £528.28. Change that. £22,000 cheaper than PCP. £472, nearly £473 a month cheaper. And the other thing you can do is, as an employer, to incentivise staff, you might want to pass on a bit of other savings. So obviously, if your taxable pay goes down, the amount of company NI goes down as well. Now, you'll always have company NI to pay on the benefit. So there will be, in this case, 15% payable on the £1,300, which is about, what, £200 for the year. But the spreadsheet allows us to say, OK, well, we'll pass on a bit of that company NI saving as well. Now, you don't need to do that, but you might want to. So let's say, OK, we'll pass on half of the company NI saving as well. Put 50% in that box, saves another £37. Now, there's not as much company NI saving because you only pay NI at 2% above a certain threshold. So there's not so much to save, but it still brings it down to 508.16, which is a 39% saving. Change that to 509. Nearly £500 a month. One other thing, if you earn more than £100,000 a year, you can effectively save almost 60%, due to the fact that your personal allowance will reduce by £1 for every £2 earned over the £100,000 a year. So if you can get yourself out of that £100,000 a year bracket, you can save even more. Hope that was useful. Thanks for stopping by. As I said, if you like the content, please do hit that subscribe button. Please hit that bell icon so that you're notified as to when I release new content. Until next time, thanks for watching. Take care.